Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Sal Warner. How you all doing? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another episode of Chatterbox. Hope you're all doing well. Everyone's having a fantastic afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you guys for joining me. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here with me. Another day in the world of Manchester United, another transfer spin, another big bit of news, a big breaking news that we need to bring you today. Please, before I start, if you could kindly subscribe to the channel and smash a like, that would be absolutely perfect if you guys could do that before I start. Really helps the video in its development and how far it gets. But thank you guys for joining me anyway. Absolute legends, a lot of you. Redwood Tower, big up. Yes, mate, big up. Sal, legend. Thank you so much. So are you. Thank you very much, guys. Rainbow Dental Lab, absolute. Yeah, hi, my man. Hi, my man. What's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Hope everything is doing brilliantly. Now, I'm going to get into it real quickly. Now, big news in regards to Manchester United and Scott McTominay. Fulham have matched Manchester United's asking price for Scott McTominay. What do you make of this? What do you make of this? Is this good news for you? Do you think this is good news? Big up, Joker. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. You need to do the introduction. What do you mean introduction, my friend? Do you mean intro? Do you mean the music and video? Do you mean something like that? I'm working on it, my friend. I'm working on it. Something good is going to happen. I've got all my clips from everything I've done in the past. I'm going to pull it all together and release it like that as an intro. But yeah, absolutely. I'm not too interested in like the countdown. I think that's a bit corny, you know, but I'm going to put a proper intro in it. And when the intro comes, it's going to be absolutely perfect. Yeah, intro. It will be, mate. It will be. It's coming soon. Thank you, though, Rainbow. It's coming soon. Rainbow Dental Lab. It's coming soon, my friend. Don't worry about that. But yeah, in regards to Scott McTominay, Scott McTominay is Fulham have matched Manchester United's asking price for Scott McTominay. What does that mean? That means now there's no way out of Manchester United not agreeing to this deal. They have agreed to sell Scott McTominay, and Fulham have matched the asking price. So that means they are the most likely ones to purchase Scott McTominay. You know, there's something different every single day at Manchester United, of course. Something new every single day when it comes to transfer news, when it comes to a new piece of news. When you think it's going that way, it goes that way. Do you know what I mean? When you think it's going that way, it goes that way. That's Manchester United to a T in regards to transfers, in regards to news, etc. Big up, Garrett. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you back. Hope you're doing well. How's your day been? Hope you're doing fantastic. But yeah, it's Scott McTominay. Could he be leaving Manchester United? Finally, could Scott McTominay be leaving Man United after all these years? For me, it's a bit like a mythical thing, like a myth that Scott McTominay will leave Manchester United, because, you know, we've become so accustomed to him being there, and he represents a lot of who we were over the last 7-8 years. If you know what I mean. It's no insult to Scott McTominay, but it just represents where we've been over the last few years, if you know what I mean. It's just like that level. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it was. And the thing is, Rainbow Dental Lab, is that he was going to Napoli, but Napoli need to sell to buy. Napoli need to sell a couple of players to get Scott McTominay. But now Fulham have come with the asking price. What does that mean? It's up to Scott McTominay at the end of the day. If he wants to go to Fulham or he wants to wait for Napoli to come up with the money, with the P's. At the end of the day, if Fulham come in, it'd be a good move for Scott McTominay. I would prefer him to move abroad myself. I would prefer him to move abroad. I wouldn't want him to stay in England, because you know what it's like. You don't like the rival players playing against us. You don't want them coming back to haunt us, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it looks like he's leaving. I'm about 60% certain, 60-70% certain that he's going to be leaving Manchester United. Of course, he will be, and at the end of the day, I wish him all the best. He's been a good pro for us. He's been here 7 years, isn't it? 7 years now. 2017, something like that. He had his debut under Jose Mourinho. Thank you, Jose Mourinho, by the way. He had his debut under Jose Mourinho. So at the end of the day, I wish him all the best in his future endeavours, and I hope that he does achieve good things where he goes. I hope it's not at Fulham. I hoped it was Napoli. I hoped he'd go to Napoli. Napoli, of course, lost at the weekend 3-0. They do need a player like Scott McTominay, so it could be still Napoli at the end of the day. Success. Hopefully we get success this season. Success Williams, good to see you on the chat, my friend. Glory Man United. How much is the asking price for Scott McTominay? Well, I believe the asking price Man United are asking for is 30. I think, and Fulham have offered it, and we can't reject that now. We have to accept it, because at the end of the day, in the past, teams didn't want to offer the asking price for Scott McTominay. Napoli, it was more like 23 plus incentive plus this plus that, so it's a bit more of a complicated deal. Fulham, I believe, are offering upfront the money that Manchester United want for Scott McTominay, so it does look likely at the moment. It could be Scott McTominay going to Fulham. It's not the choice I would have wanted. I would have wanted him to leave England and go to Napoli, because you know as well as I do, guys. You know as well as I do that, you know, a corner's going to come in and Scott McTominay is going to get on the end of it this season against Manchester United. It's how it works. This is how this season works. Do you know what I'm saying? Tom Wright, how you doing, my friend? Good. Hope you're doing well. Good afternoon. Hope everything is fine. Are we getting Ugarte or what? I'm getting tired. Me too, mate. Me too. You're in the same boat as me, mate. If I was a fly on the wall in the Manchester United boardroom, I will tell you everything you need to know. All we do need to know is from the people I heard is that we have to play a waiting game and we have to be patient. PSG are digging their heels in the ground. They're digging their heels in the ground. Manchester United are trying to work out a deal. We had George Mendes in London trying to work out a deal with PSG and Manchester United and Ugarte, trying to lower the fee. Of course, Manchester United have offered a loan with an obligation to buy. There's been a swap deal been talking about in regards to Sancho. It's going to happen. I'm 80% sure. He was left at the squad against Le Havre on Friday. So as I said, there's 3 reasons why you're left out of a squad. It's either you're injured, either you're suspended, or you're leaving the club. And I don't think it's the other 2. I think it's the latter. I believe he's leaving the club, and I believe he's coming to Manchester United. He's already agreed personal terms with Manchester United, which is a big thing, of course. Over a month ago, he agreed personal terms with Manchester United. So we need to get that deal moving, to be honest with you. It'd be great if we can get that deal done this week, so we can have him on the bench against Brighton, because I believe we can, if we work hard, get that deal over the line and get him on the bench against Brighton. I don't think he'll start against Brighton. Even if he signs for Manchester United, he won't start against Brighton, but at least get him on the bench. We do need an enforcer in that midfield. We do need someone who can shield the defence. We need that defensive midfielder. We've been asking for it for years, haven't we? We've had Casemiro, but Casemiro is, as people know, he can't play 60, 70 games a season. People said, Julian Laurent of ESPN said that he played well at the weekend. I know we know he played well, but he can't play 60, 70 games a season, of course. Tom, why are they looking for so much for him? He's not wanted there. Just lower the price. Now, I mean, at the end of the day, they obviously rate him, but the problem is they're trying to sell him for the price they bought him, they purchased him, which doesn't work. You don't go from a club to a club and it doesn't go well and your price stays the same. Price goes down naturally, doesn't it? And I feel like that they are overpricing him. Exactly, they are overpricing him. Kyle, yeah, Napoli can't pay the 30 million. They need to sell a couple of players before they do bid for him. There are a couple of players that are leaving Napoli very soon, and they will make the money, but it's a waiting game at the moment for Napoli. But Manchester United can't wait around at the end of the day. What would have been great is Man United went out there and looked at Napoli. Napoli have some very, very good players and looked at a swap deal for a player. Maybe we could have done that with McTominay and a swap deal for Di Lorenzo, for example. Absolutely admire that player. I think he's a fantastic player, something like that. But, you know, that's never going to happen, is it, at the end of the day? James, how you doing, my friend? Good afternoon. We are already light in midfield. We have 100% need to find someone soon for midfield if Scott goes. 100%, mate, we do, because the one thing about it is that we get caught on a counter-attack too often and we are too wide open. We need someone with legs. We can't rely on Casemiro for the whole season, of course. 60, 70 games a season is a lot of games. Manchester United got Europe, FA Cup, League Cup, Premier League. We need another body in there, of course. Unless we do bring in Ordinay in regards to the kids, we do bring in a young player in there and build him up, because I thought he was impressive during the pre-season. Tom Wright, how you doing, my friend? I think just take Sanderberg, and then if there is time, get Ugarte. Now I'm going to bring it into Sanderberg. Apparently, media outlets are reporting that Manchester United have put a double bid on the table for Sanderberg and Ugarte. Now, I feel like this is very unlikely that Manchester United would sign both, because Man United are going to have to pull out about 70 million. Manchester United don't have 70 million in regards to Sanderberg and Ugarte. If Man United manage to get a loan for Ugarte with an obligation to buy, then maybe they will be able to get a Sanderberg. Or if Manchester United manage to do a swap deal with Ugarte and Sancho, for example, then they'll be able to get a Sanderberg as well. I personally don't think we will need a Sanderberg if we sign Ugarte. It could be that Manchester United are putting both offers on the table, so if one fails, they get the other. If the other fails, they get the other. Kind of like that, really. So they're preparing for the every scenario possible. That could be a thing, and that is very smart of Manchester United, of course, if they are doing that, because we do need to rope the Fulham. There's only 12 days left in this transfer window, of course. Garrett, Sal, I think we are going to have a good opening fixture run, like the first 16 unbeaten. Garrett, I love your optimism, mate. Positivity, I agree. I feel like if we beat Brighton is the hard one for me. If we beat Brighton and then we go and defeat Southampton and then we go on to Liverpool and beat Liverpool, who knows what could happen in the season? You know that winning is infectious. You know, winning is a habit, and so is losing, of course. But winning is a habit, and if we do that and we win our opening 5 games of the season, who knows what can happen? Squad getting stronger as well, players to come back as well. Absolutely, we have to remain positive. We won the first game. I felt we should have won the first game 4 or 5. Absolutely, definitely. Alex, how you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you back. Good to see you back. PSG will cave like Bayern did. It will take time. Absolutely, Alex. I believe the same thing as well. I think that doesn't make business sense to keep players that are unhappy, have openly said they don't want to play. When you're leaving an asset like Ugarte out of the squad completely against a big game against Le Havre at the weekend, then it becomes a problem because you're paying wages for that player. So if there's only one way this is going to go, which is going to Manchester United. Of course, PSG are going to dig their heels in. They're very stubborn. They've got an ego, of course, PSG. They're run by, obviously, a huge, powerful company. They're run by a state, so obviously they're going to have a big ego. And also, Qatar and Manchester United don't have the best of relationships at the moment. Of course, what happened with the Sal. So obviously, they're going to play hardball in regards to Manchester United. As they are, as you can see, they're playing very hardball against Manchester United. Hey Alex, yep, hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you do. It's really good to see you here again. Thank you so much. Sniper Man, Sniper Bin, what's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Hope everything is good. Yes, as I said earlier in the show, Sniper Man's Fulham have matched Manchester United's asking price. So this means it could quite possibly be Fulham where Scott McTominay is going to. Napoli need to sell, as I quoted a few days ago, they do need to sell players to afford the transfer fee. They were offering 23 plus incentives. I believe Fulham are offering 30 million, which is the asking price that Manchester United are trying to get. Now that they've offered this money, there is no excuses. Scott McTominay could become a Fulham player. Scott McTominay leaving Manchester United. Who would have believed it? I wouldn't have believed it. But it's very, very important, as the guy said earlier in the comments, that we do replace Scott McTominay. We cannot sell Scott McTominay and not replace him. Sanderberg, do you believe Sanderberg is an upgrade to Scott McTominay? I'll let you in the comments tell me, because at the end of the day, I'm not too sure. I'm not coming here and saying that I'm the all-knowing of Sanderberg at the end of the day. Sanderberg has been relatively quiet within the last few years. Haven't heard much about him. So we'll have to wait and see if he is. But Ugarte definitely is. Ugarte is a key central defensive midfielder, a specialist central defensive midfielder, and it's something that we need. And he can rotate, obviously, with Casemiro, which will be fantastic, of course, guys. Of course. Almac, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Are you not concerned and how limited Ugarte is? We struggle to play out from the back, and Ugarte offers nothing on the ball. Where is the press-resistant ball carrier? At the end of the day, I believe that he is better than you think. I do believe he is very good. The only thing is concerning is that he's not a threat in front of goal. He doesn't go forward. He doesn't score goals. He doesn't. But we'll have to wait and see. This is the great thing about football, Almac. You know, we can say that we want Ugarte. I rate Ugarte myself. I rated him at Sporting Lisbon as well. I think he's a very good player. I think he can develop as well. He's still young. Let's not forget he's still young and he can develop. Sometimes at PSG, teams like PSG, you don't find your home. You don't find where you're supposed to be. I believe Manchester United will be the place for him to develop. He's a strong player. He can clear up in front of that defence. He can be that enforcer, that aggressor in midfield that we need. Now, obviously, Ineos rate him, Ten Hag rates him, and as long as they rate him, Almac, that is all that matters to me at the end of the day. And from there, we wait and see if it's right or wrong at the end of the day. Success. If Ugarte is delaying, we should get Sanderberg first. We'll have to wait and see who's the better player. You have to weigh it up yourself. At the moment, is Ugarte worth waiting for? I believe he is. He's 23. I believe he is. Sander Berg is like 27 in February. So at the end of the day, we need to be clever when we're signing players. Ugarte is the one I like. Of course, it's opinion at the end of the day. Success. It's all about opinion. But I believe Ugarte is the guy to help our midfield problems at the moment. Jago Manchester, what's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Jamaica in the house. Big up Jamaica. Big up the Jamaican family. Big yourself up, of course. You home of Usain Bolt. Big Manchester United fan, of course. Big Manchester United community in Jamaica. Love it. Absolutely love it. We have fans here from all around the world on this channel. Absolutely, we have so many people from all four corners of the world, and I absolutely love it because that is what Manchester United is. That's the DNA of Manchester United, and I love it. Big up the Jamaican family. Big yourself up. Garrett, he was Player of the Year at Burnley last season. Then let's go for him. Then, if we feel that he's the right man, let's go for him. I prefer Ugarte. I do myself. That's just an opinion. Garrett, but I believe if not Ugarte, then obviously Edison or Sander Berg. One of those two. We have options. Manchester United are exploring other players. So it's better us get a player in there in the midfield than having absolutely no one at all, isn't it? But they have to be of the quality that's going to help Manchester United. Otherwise, better playing a youngster. Sander Berg is obviously highly rated. And if Ten Hag and Ineos rate this player, I trust them, Garrett. I trust them. At the end of the day, if they've obviously done their research, they know how good this player is. So if he's their best player, if they believe in him and they rate him, who am I to argue? At the end of the day, I believe in them and I go with whatever Ten Hag wants, what player he wants, of course. Darkro, how you doing? Salam, what's going on? Namaste. Ciao, what's going on? Buenos Aires, what's going on, everyone? I hope you're doing well. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you for joining me, Darkro. It's good to see you again. Just bring new faces. Manchester United are definitely working on new faces coming in at the club, of course. Manchester United have a lot of players that are in the pipeline. This is a big couple of weeks, of course. 30th is the end of the transfer window. 29th is the last day of the transfer window, of course. So there's a lot that can happen between now and then, my friends. We can wait. There's something massive could happen. I've said there's going to be a surprise in the mix. There's going to be a player coming through the door that we don't expect, of course. So we have to be confident and we have to be cautious optimism, I say. As I always say, it's always good to practice cautious optimism, guys, in regards to transfers, because you know they can go pear-shaped. It might not work out. Do you remember the De Jong transfer? Do you remember the Schneider transfer? Do you remember them? How many times we are after this player? Things can go wrong. Ronaldinho famously was about to sign for Manchester United. He was in Manchester and famously he said he saw the rain and thought, nah, I'm going to Barcelona. Things like that happen. Things like that, you know, football is a funny old game. Who remembers John Obi Mikel, signed for Man United, held up the shirt of Man United and then ended up signing for Chelsea. His loss at the end of the day, but that's what can happen in transfer windows, of course. Anything can happen. But we just hope that Ten Hag gets the targets that he believes in and the targets that he rates, because we don't want to get third, fourth, fifth targets in regards to that, because, you know, he's going to take it, but it's not going to be his obvious first choices, is it? Almac. I prefer the Zubimendi type midfielder. Good point. Someone that is good on playing the ball out from the back. It is strange that we missed out on De Jong and then never went back for a similar profile player. Do you know what, mate? I rate Zubimendi highly. I absolutely understand what you're saying. I think Manchester United have a problem with controlling games. So Man United have problems with controlling the ball, keeping the ball, and bringing the ball out from the back into the midfield, up into the attacking players. A Zubimendi type player would have been fantastic, but Zubimendi is very loyal to Real Sociedad. As we know, he's rejected Liverpool. Zubi dooby doo, where are you, and all that, of course. So at the end of the day, he's rejected Liverpool. Doubt Man United were going for him. He's one of my favourite players during this summer. He's one of the ones I wanted. I believe he's got that technical ability. You saw that in the European Championships when Rodri came on and Zubimendi came on. Rodri came off and Zubimendi came on. I was thinking that game that, oh, we've got the game now. England have got the game. Then he brought on Zubimendi and he changed the game, of course. You know, he's a good player. Unfortunately, he's very loyal to Real Sociedad and he doesn't want to leave. I think we must go for no-name players. The big-name guys become mercenaries. Some of them do, yes. Some of them, the famous ones, you know, the Galacticos type of signings we need to stay away from, of course. Someone like a Sanderberg will work well, but then again, you've got to be careful with players like that. You know, remember when we signed Schneiderlin and players like that, they were Southampton Player of the Year, you know, and stuff, you know, and it didn't work out at Man United at the end of the day. Everton Player of the Year, sorry. And it didn't work out at Manchester United. It was Southampton, it was. And it didn't work out at Manchester United. Of course, we have to be careful as well. We have to know who we're targeting and we have to know their qualities, which I trust Ineos and I trust Ten Hag that they know what they're doing in regards to that. Darko, Sal, how do you have Schmeichel in your heart? Sal, how do you have Schmeichel in your heart? He was a legend and then went to City. The reason is, Darko, is because Peter Schmeichel won so much at Manchester United. He was a treble winner. Manchester City at that time were rubbish. They're not the same Manchester City as they are now. Manchester City were rubbish and we felt sorry for them at the end of the day. They were not our major rivals back then. They had Sean Golter, which is their legend. What Schmeichel achieved for Manchester United, he was one of the people who won us our first title in the first time in 26 years. So I'm never going to criticise Peter Schmeichel. I don't agree with the move to Manchester City. I felt like he should have had another contract after the Barcelona Champions League final. I felt like he should have done. He would have done if Sir Alex Ferguson persuaded him. We struggled after that until we bought Edwin van der Sar. Schmeichel's a legend regardless of what happened, because then you can bring in Dennis Law. You could say, oh, well, Dennis Law went to Manchester City, but he's not a legend. But he is, isn't it? You know, he is a legend. Dennis Law got us relegated. He backheeled the ball into the back of the net in 1974 and got us relegated. But he's still on the Trinity statue, isn't he? This is the thing, and we have to remember that. You know, Manchester City were not that team, you know, back then. Nowadays it's different. There's a lot of bitterness going on between Man United and Man City. It's a lot different. Back then it was Liverpool were the main rivals. Man City went down to Division 1, you know, and they went down to Division 2, didn't they? So at the end of the day, they weren't our rivals back then. So there's a big difference. Although he could have picked another club. I do understand what you mean, Darko. He could have chose another club to go to. But he's still a legend in my eyes, and he's still in the heart, of course. People make mistakes at the end of the day, and I think Man City, he admitted it was a mistake to go to Man City. Alex, what's your thoughts on Wharton? I imagine it's Sal, Mctominay and Pellistri, we'd have done enough for him. Wharton, I want to see him in the Premier League one more season. I do, and it's just my opinion. I want to see him play in the Premier League one more season. He didn't have the best of games at the weekend for Crystal Palace. Of course, they lost to Brentford 2-1. But I just want to see him one more season play for Crystal Palace. And let's see how he is next season. Maybe we can go after him next season. You never know. You know, let's see how good he is. Kevin, Edison, Manchester United should definitely have a look at him. Yeah, absolutely. Manchester United have a number of midfielders that they are looking at, but at the moment the priority is Ugarte. And once Ugarte's through the door, then we can start looking at Edison and obviously players like Wharton, players like, you know, Berg as well. I just feel like we're going to sign one. There were rumours today we're going after a double deal. If that happened, I'll be absolutely astonished. That's 70 million, of course, for two players. I'll be absolutely astonished, especially if we haven't sorted out the left-sided defence at the moment, the left back, etc. So we do need to be clever in regards to. Oh yes, it's you. Big up, Garrett. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Bro, can you update me on Ugarte? Yeah. As I said earlier in the show, it's a waiting game at the moment, Joker. UG. It's a waiting game. I'm 80% certain that the deal will be done. Manchester United just need to iron out the final deal details. PSG are holding firm. They're digging their heels in the ground, trying to get more money from Manchester United, but the deal should be done. And don't be surprised if it is done within the end of this week. I hope it's today or tomorrow. We get some big news. But by the end of this week, it should be done. And if it's not, then it's a bit of a disaster because we want Ugarte to be integrated into that team soon because we need to work on tactics, etc. I want him on the bench against Brighton. I hope he's on the bench against Brighton. We have to wait and see. But he was left at the squad against Le Havre for PSG on Friday. So that is big news, of course. That is huge news. They cannot keep an asset of Ugarte's value in the reserves. It just doesn't work like that, of course. Almac, did Ronaldo really almost sign for Man City? It seems strange that he's even considered it. Do you know what I would say, Almac, in regards to that? We have to remember this, right? We really do. Ronaldo loves Ronaldo. You know, Ronaldo is a Manchester United legend. He will always be a Manchester United legend. But at the end of the day, Ronaldo loves Ronaldo. And that's where it ends at the end of the day. He doesn't love Manchester United. He likes Man United. He likes the fans, etc. But, you know, he doesn't support Manchester United. He's pro Ronaldo. He's Ronaldo. And that's it. And would you have blamed him for going to Manchester City, picking up a couple of trophies, a couple of Premier Leagues? At the end of the day, he didn't do it, did he? He went to Man United and, you know, he scored a lot of goals as well. And it didn't really end well at the end of the day. I've always been a firm believer, unless your name's Paul Scholes, I don't believe you can come back from that. I don't believe you can come back. I believe once you've gone, you go. That's it. Never go back. Never, ever go back. You know, the past is there for a reason. And that's it. Exactly. Ronaldo's a mercenary. He's a rich man, Alex. He's a very rich man, of course. He don't need money. He doesn't. He's a very rich man, and probably he's just pro Ronaldo. He is. He's just Ronaldo, isn't he? Darko, Sal, which rival club impressed you the most in the first game of the Premier League? Which rival club? In my opinion, Villa. Aston Villa. I thought that was a very difficult game to go to the West Ham Stadium. I thought that was a very difficult game for them. I actually felt they'll drop points there. So if you can call Aston Villa a rival, if you can call them a rival, I felt, considering that they were top 4 last season, I felt that Aston Villa had the best result, in my opinion. Of course, Man City beat Chelsea. I don't think Chelsea are that strong, in my opinion. I don't. I think they're going to struggle this year as well. I do believe that Chelsea will come 5th, 6th, 7th. I do. Do you think Mazraoui can bring out the best in Anthony again, Garrett? Yeah, I hope so, mate. I really do. I mean, Mazraoui had an astonishing debut. I mean, come on, he's only been there a few days and then he comes out with like a man on a match display. I saw him moving into midfield. I saw him on left back. I saw him on right back. Absolutely brilliant performance from Mazraoui. Really excited to see more of him. Hopefully he starts the game against Brighton. Hopefully De Ligt starts as well, and Xerxes. Would like to see them play as well. Really looking forward to the game against Brighton. Doing the watch-along, of course, and it's an early kickoff. Thank goodness we're not playing late again. It's an early kickoff, of course. We're playing 12:30, I believe it is. So I'm really looking forward to that game. James, is this season the last of the FFP 3-year cycle? If so, I imagine next summer transfers window will be massive. Let's hope so, James. At the end of the day, I have my opinions on FFP. I don't believe FFP helps the smaller teams. I believe it encourages teams to sell the younger players, which is a problem at the end of the day. This is why Manchester United are so interested in even Tony, because it helps FFP. And even though how much even Tony cost, it helps FFP. But it's encouraging these teams to sell their young players. It's encouraging. And teams like Leicester getting deducted points, it just doesn't fit right with me. As much as we don't like Everton, them being deducted points, it just doesn't fit right with me, if you know what I mean. Darko, does Sal love Sal? Does Sal love Sal? Occasionally, Sal loves Sal. I love Sal sometimes. But yeah, you have to love yourself at the end of the day. You have to love. You know what? Tell yourself every single day. And don't just say it like an ego way. Don't stand in the mirror brushing your hair saying, I love me. Oh my God, I'm so good. Like, you know, tell yourself, I love me. I love me. You are in control. Always tell yourself that. You are in control of yourself and you are strong and I love you. And always thank yourself. You know what? I've always believed this. Always thank yourself, because you know, the body works. It doesn't work it works by choice. It doesn't work because it has to. Do you know what I mean? So it's always important to thank yourself and appreciate yourself. But I don't love myself the way Ronaldo loves himself. If Ronaldo had a clone, he'll probably marry himself at the end of the day. Jared Brownthwaite, Price, mate. Price, Rainbow Dental Lab. Price is too much at the moment. 50, 60 million at the end of the day is too much for us, and they're going to have to reduce the transfer fee if they're going to do anything in regards to that, because Man United cannot afford 60, 70 million on a player that's relatively unproven at the elite level, if you know what I mean. Almac, how many years do you think it would take to reshape the squad and actually contend for the title? Can I be honest with you, Almac? And I'm going to put myself on a pedestal here. Not a pedestal, but I'm going to put myself on a hill. I'm going to die on this hill. I think, right, you can laugh all you want, right? You can laugh all you want. I think Man United will challenge for the title this year. I'm not gonna change I'm not gonna flip flop. As much as people don't believe it's true, I believe they will. I believe they will. They'll challenge for the title this year. I'm not going to flip flop. I'm not going to go away from that at the end there. I'm never going to change my opinion. I'm here. I'm there. And I'm on that opinion. Big up, Sal. What about the new stadium? Yeah, it's going to be a new stadium coming very, very soon. Unfortunately, we're going to have to move with the times. Manchester United is a fantastic, Old Trafford is a fantastic stadium, of course. My earliest memories going to Old Trafford was, of course, taking pictures with the Munich clock, of course, the Trinity statue. You know, it is a very, very beautiful stadium. And my opinion is, before we do leave Old Trafford, try your best to visit Old Trafford. Try your best to see the history. We have to move on. What the Glazers have done to this club, they've dragged us through the mud, of course, in regards to not regenerating the stadium. You know, since Sir Alex Ferguson left, Sir Alex Ferguson, of course, built the quadrants on the stadium. They built the north and the east quadrants, of course, and we haven't done anything since then, to be honest with you. We just let it decay, and unfortunately, that's down to the Glazers. And some things are beyond repair. We're going to have to move stadium probably. It's a sad moment. I'm not going to celebrate it. I'm very disappointed in that because Old Trafford is our home. Old Trafford is the fortress that it is, of course. A lot of history. Old Trafford. We have a different type of history at Man United. We have proper history at Man United. You know what I mean? Life and death history. You know, and Old Trafford is a big part of that. Even during the war, during the World War II, Old Trafford was bombed, of course, as well. So you know we have a big history in regards to that. James, I was there the day Dennis scored that goal, turned and walked off. But we were going down because of results elsewhere. So Dennis never sent us down. Anyway, next season we'll get Tommy Doxford. Yeah, I know, mate, but it sort of added salt into the wound, didn't it? Didn't it, really? And we're not going to hate Dennis Law for that. Dennis Law will always be a legend, one of our greatest ever goal scorers, of course. Absolute legend. We're not going to hate on him for that at the end of the day. Yeah, Manchester United, we went down because of ourselves, of course. Throughout the season we were poor, of course, you know, and we're not going to blame Dennis Law for that. It's a bit like Peter Schmeichel going to Manchester City. Peter Schmeichel was in his retirement, you know, and he was at the retirement age, and you know we can't knock him for leaving and going there at the end of the day if no one else wanted him. Mark, how you doing? I think we have already gotten so far with the Ugarte deal and the player also desperate to join. It would just be unfair if he doesn't join. Sell McTominay, Pedestrian, Sancho, buy Ugarte and Kadioglu. Absolutely, mate. I'm a big fan of Kadioglu. As people know in this chat, or people know in this show, I'm absolutely a big fan of Kadioglu. I hope we can get, I hope the surprise signing is the left back and we can get a player like Kadioglu through the door. He still hasn't signed for Brighton yet. Although Brighton are in for him, he still hasn't signed for them. So that is pretty big at the end of the day in regards to that. So he could still come to Manchester United. He could still be a Manchester United player. Very excited. But one thing I want to point out, I want to talk to you about, and you know, a lot of these channels on this fan channel hemisphere, they thrive off transfers and they thrive of who we're going to get next, who's the next big thing. Because you know, at the end of the day, what I care about the most about this time of year, I just care about getting on with it and winning on the pitch. That's what I want, and that's what I focus on. You know, it's not all about shining new toys and this and that. I like a player, I like Kadioglu, I like Ugarte. They're the two players I really like at the end of the day, and I hope we can get those two players through the door. Other than that, I can't wait for this transfer window to be over. I can't wait for us to have our team together, and I can't wait for us to go on a winning run, because at the end of the day, nothing brings me more joy than Manchester United winning, and that is the most important thing at the end of the day. So I agree we'll be in the title race. Yes, Mark, I agree as well. I think it'll be a surprise to a lot of people. I do believe. I may be wrong, but I do believe it'll be a surprise to a lot of people. But I believe Manchester United will be in a title race this season. Can you imagine? Can you imagine their faces? Adam, I joined your show late. Please update me on the transfer of Ugarte deal and the players who are moving out. Scott McTominay and Fulham have matched Manchester United's asking price for Scott McTominay, which means it's highly likely that Scott McTominay will be going to Fulham, because there's nothing stopping that deal now. No money's going to stop that deal. It's up to personal terms at the end of the day. If Fulham could give him the personal terms that he likes, then yes. Scott McTominay has already agreed personal terms with Napoli, but Napoli cannot afford the transfer fee. Napoli need to sell a couple of players. They've got a couple of players who are pending leaving at the moment, so that might take a week or at the end till the end of the transfer window. So it's whether Manchester United are willing to wait for Napoli or just take the Fulham deal. But it's up to Fulham if they want to pay Scott McTominay the wages that he wants at the end of the day, because at the end of the day that's the big thing. Excuse me, at the end of the day. So we have to wait for that. In regards to Ugarte, It's a waiting game. Ugarte, of course, was left out the squad for Le Havre PSG on Friday, so it could be possible that that could happen at any time. As I said before earlier in the show, earlier today, I'm 80% sure that Ugarte will be a Manchester United player before the transfer window ends. At least. I hope it's this week, because I want to see him on the bench for the Brighton and Hove Albion game. So let's hope, fingers crossed, everything goes our way. Sniper Man, Scott deserves a Euro Champions team and not a team that is a lower end of the Premier League and gets relegated spots mid-season. Sniper Man, you know, no one wants him, Sniper. You know, at the end of the day, no one wants Scott McTominay apart from Fulham and Napoli right now, Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, those type of teams. If I was Scott McTominay, I would have tried my luck with Galatasaray or Napoli. I thought that would have been a better move than Fulham. I feel like if he really wants to test himself, if we really want to see where McTominay is, go to Napoli. Brilliant team, fantastic team, historical, Diego Maradona, great team. Not saying that Scott McTominay is Diego Maradona, but, you know, it's a fantastic team to join, you know, and at the end of the day, he should have went to Napoli or he should go to Galatasaray. I agree with that. Fulham's the easy way out, in my opinion. I think he should go to a bigger club. But, of course, it's up to whether the teams are going to pay the money for him. And that's what it all boils down at the end of the day, you know. Mawaya, if they build a new stadium, what will the name be? New Trafford or again Old Trafford? I would like to see it called Sir Matt Busby, the Busby-based stadium, Sir Matt Busby Stadium, something like that. On those, if it matches our history, I would love to see. I would love to see that at the end of the day. But I fear that it's not going to be that. I fear it's going to be like the Snapdragon Stadium, the Ineos Stadium, which is not us. You know, I feel like they should look at our history and not forget our history on who we are. They really do, and hopefully they make the right choices in regards to the stadium, etc. Of course. Dark Crow. Let me just get this, sorry. Do you think we sold Greenwood too cheap? 26p seems too cheap. Yes, we did sell him too cheap, but we had no choice. They are in the Champions League, Sniper Man. Yes, sorry, I missed your chat. Do you think we did? He's a £100 million player. I'm going to say it like that. He's a £100 million player. We sold him for ridiculous amounts of money. The ceiling for Mason Greenwood is ridiculous. He's better than Saka. He's a brilliant player. He's probably our best youth product coming out of the system, you know, since the class of '92. And obviously, whatever happened has happened. And at the end of the day, this is, we sold it for really, really cheap. It's peanuts. You know, when Sander Berg is going for that money, you know, and then you got Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood's a generational talent. He's a generational talent. And you know, I'll argue with anyone with that. He's the new Van Persie, in my opinion. And unfortunately, there's a lot of self-righteous people who just sell him quick. Yeah, they are in the Champions League, I believe so. Are they? I'll have to check that, actually. They might be Europa League, but they could be. Mark, McTominay is coming and doing what he did against Fulham should have been more than convincing for Fulham to get him at all costs. I see us doing the Ugarte deal by the weekend and the Cadillac deadline. Mate, absolutely. You think like me, Mark? Absolutely. I believe that we can get those two deals done. I hope that we can get Ugarte done by this week. Rumour is he could be on the bench against Brighton. We'll have to wait and see. So if he is on the bench against Brighton, I'll be delighted because we need him at the end of the day. Darko, Sal, isn't Scott too soft for Serie A? Nah, he's a beast, mate. He's an athlete. He'd do well there. Napoli's a tough club, but, you know, at the end of the day, if he plays for Napoli, they'll love him over there, but he can't mess around. You know, he'll have to perform, you know. I would call the new stadium hell, seeing that we are Red Devils. Yeah, welcome to hell. We're turning to Galatasaray. Do you remember those days? Welcome to hell. Galatasaray, Turkey, Istanbul. Do you remember those days when we played in the 90s? It was... I think it was the Aztec. Was it Aztec Stadium? Yeah, it was a very, very intimidating stadium back in the day. It's not like now, the commercial stadium. Back then, it was very, very intimidating with the red fireworks and everything going off. Do you remember Cantona on that time and everything like that and whatnot? It was madness, absolute madness, of course. If no Old Trafford again, maybe fans will ignore it. It should be Old Trafford again. I agree. Something that matches our heritage. You know, I believe that the stadium should be matching our heritage. The name shouldn't be commercialised. It shouldn't be Ineos Stadium, Snapdragon Stadium, all that rubbish. The stadium should be, just like Real Madrid has kept it, the Bernabeu. It should be New Trafford or it should be like Sir Matt Busby Stadium, something like that, Busby Babes Stadium, something that matches our heritage and our history at the end of the day. It should be, I believe. I very firmly believe in that. I'm passionate about that. Old Trafford is one of the most historical football grounds in the world. Moving from Old Trafford is one thing, but if we're moving from Old Trafford and completely changing our identity, I don't agree with that at the end of the day. My main choice was rebuilding Old Trafford, but obviously it's become too difficult to rebuild Old Trafford. It's going to be more expensive to rebuild Old Trafford. Of course, we've got the train tracks as well behind the stadium that are not going to be moved, of course, and obviously we could try and build up, but unfortunately they still have to move back, don't they? This is the problem. The surrounding area is the issue at Old Trafford. It's very, very difficult to build a new Old Trafford. We're going to have to move to another area close by. So, it is emotional at the end of the day. We feel emotional about our heritage and our history. We have a lot of history at Old Trafford, but sometimes, just sometimes, we have to move on. It won't be the same. Old Trafford is the stadium. Old Trafford is a fortress. Sometimes it can be. In recent years, it hasn't been the fortress that we would like. But at the end of the day, sometimes we have to move with the times. And thanks to the Glazers and make it and contributing to Old Trafford decaying and leaking, etc., that's down to them at the end of the day. That's down to the Glazers. If Sir Alex Ferguson was there, he would have made sure that the stadium was maintained, just like when he was building the quadrants, when he was building the East Stand, etc., Stretford End, of course, early in the 90s, etc. So, it is sad that what the Glazers have done. They've dragged us through the mud, and the Glazers have really put us in this situation where we have to move, Darko, so are you emotionally attached to Old Trafford? Yes, Darko, very emotionally attached to Old Trafford. I'm emotionally attached to Manchester United. When you visit a ground for the first time when you're a child, you have emotional attachment to things, in regards to the stadium, in regards to the history of the stadium. If you've ever been to Old Trafford, you see the Munich clock, you see the Trinity statue, you see the Sir Matt Busby statue, you see a lot of history there. And when you go and you see Old Trafford, when you walk into Old Trafford and you see the hill, because when you go to Old Trafford, the pitch isn't level, it's actually like a hill. So it's very dangerous actually, because you've got a concrete wall just by where the throw-ins are, on the edge of the pitch. So you see that it's just a unique sort of football ground. You think about players who played there: George Best, Eric Cantona, for example, David Beckham, Paul Scholes. Those type of players have played there. Steve Bruce, Andy Cole, Peter Schmeichel, George Best. These players have played there, and it's going to be sad, but we have to move on. Unfortunately, life moves on, and we have to move on in regards to the stadium. We have to. If we're going to progress as a football club commercially and as a profiting entity, we have to move away from Old Trafford, because Old Trafford is getting pretty dangerous right now at the end of the day. Unless you're Angel Di Maria, it's very horrible when people fall off the pitch and go slamming into a concrete wall, of course. Yeah. Almac, yes, how do you feel Mason Mount would go this season? What is the position? False number 9, number 10, can also drift off from the right, from the left. I just don't think he offers enough, Almac. I think he'd be okay. I hope he does well this season. I really do hope he does well this season. I really do. I wish him all the best, but I wasn't up for this signing. I didn't think we needed this signing, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, I wish him all the best this season. I think his best position is the number 10 position, or a false 9, or playing on the right of a 3. He's very versatile. He can also play in the centre of midfield. I just feel like he doesn't have that certain something. There's something that Man United player has. Bruno has it. But there's something a Man United has that a lot of players don't have. They don't have, of course. We'll be the same supporters, and we will bring Old Trafford to the new stadium. We'll make it the fortress that it is, Mark. Absolutely, we'll make it the fortress that it is, of course. We'll make it into an absolute fortress. It'll probably be more of a fortress than Old Trafford. I don't feel that Old Trafford has been a fortress in recent years, in my humble opinion. I don't think it has. I think it's quiet these days. I don't think that the atmosphere is good. I haven't seen it a good atmosphere. I've been to Old Trafford 300 times, 400 times at the end of the day. So I've seen it at the end of the day good, and I've seen it bad. Recently, it's been very quiet, but there has been those days where it has been amazing. I point out the Champions League games The Champions League game, like the game against Roma, which I was at, the 7-1, the atmosphere was cooking, absolutely cooking, and that intimidated Roma, and that's what I remember Old Trafford as. But unfortunately, as life moves on, and you have to move on, of course, you do have to move on, of course. Mason Mount sold to Newcastle in January. Mark, yeah, I hope so, mate. Well, I hope he has a good season, Mark. You know, if he doesn't, then yeah, Newcastle in January. That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? We get a bit of money for Mason Mount at the end of the day. Yeah, big up, Mark, by the way. The new stadium reduced to two-tier stadium for the women's teams and youth teams means the historic nature, the pitch, original trophy cabinet and stuff will be authentically. The stadium is always that. It was, yeah, but at the end of the day, Old Trafford is Old Trafford. Playing at Old Trafford is still Man United, you know. It's Man United, you know. And you have to go to Old Trafford to understand the way it is, the stadium, the wall it is. You know, you have to go there to understand how it is. And at the end of the day, we move on. And at the end of the day, it's not a good thing. We don't celebrate moving from Old Trafford. It's not something to celebrate. You know, it's not something I like to particularly talking about because I remember going to Old Trafford as a child, you know, and I've grown up with Old Trafford as it is. You know, men's team playing at Old Trafford, Man United playing at Old Trafford. It's great that the women's teams are going to play there. It's great that it's going to have the historical, the museum, etc. But we're going to be playing in a cauldron of a new stadium, which is going to be commercialised. Man United fans, you have to remember this, right? Man United, Old Trafford got bombed in the war, you know, and at the end of the day, Man United have historical value. Snapdragon Stadium, Ineos Stadium, you know, it's not going to be nice at the end of the day. It's not, because we pride ourselves on our historical value, and that is where we come from. So moving from Old Trafford, it's going to hurt, but we have to do it. We do. I just hope that we don't name it the Ineos Stadium or the Snapdragon Stadium, something like that, in my opinion, if you know what I mean. Is Glazers out movement dead? No, it's not, mate. No, it's not. It's just at the moment we have to concentrate on what's going on at the moment, see what Ineos does. We hope that eventually Ineos do drift Glazers out of the club. I doubt it's going to happen anytime soon. They're loving it at Old Trafford. They're earning money. They're getting their dividends. They're loving it at Old Trafford. I don't think that the Glazer movement has never died. It won't die at the end of the day. We just hope that eventually they do leave. At the moment, we're lucky we have, you know, Ineos in there that have 27%. But I would have preferred myself a full sale, Glazers out, debt cleared. I was an advocate for that. I was on Qatar TV. And they're just talking about that, and I said it back then. I didn't care if it was Apple, Amazon, or even Ineos, as long as it was a full sale and the Glazers out and the debt cleared. But we have to support what is now, and we have to move on forward with what Ineos do. Let's see what it is. We don't want to do protests and that when the season starts, because at the end of the day, let's try and win some games. Let's get on the front foot and let's try and win this title. Let's try and do it, guys. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. But obviously, I know what you mean. Where was I? Yeah, that was I just read that one. Sorry. Is the Glaze? Yeah, just read that one as well. Mount just doesn't bring the same that he used to at Chelsea, but you think that it is a setback. He could have the injury and surgery. Let's give him a fair chance and do it. Yeah, I agree, Mark Elman. I do agree. Give him a chance this season. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. You never know. He might turn into the player he was a couple of years ago. I don't think he's been that player for 2-3 years. I believe he hasn't been the player he was. You know, when he was that player who played for England, etc. He was even dropped for England, wasn't he? Southgate loved him as well, of course. It's 20 feet away, bro. We'll still be at traffic. Yeah, I don't care if it's 20 feet away, 5 minutes away, 5 meters away. Man United fans know the value of Old Trafford and what it is and the stadium we played at. We will move to another place near it, of course. Maybe. No one knows that for certain. We just know that. I just don't want the stadium being called a commercialized name. Sometimes select things out, you know, when I talk, I don't select things out and say this and say that. It's about the name of Old Trafford. I don't want it to be commercialised. Listen, I've been a fan of Man United for over 40 years, guys. 40 years. Do you know what I mean? And there's many people in this industry, in this circle, who sit there profiting off Man United and using Man United's name. I feel it in regards to Man United, you know. And that's what it is. I just don't like the idea but we have to move on. I just don't like the idea of a Snapdragon Ineos stadium. Do you know what I'm saying? In regards to that. So that's the main point I'm having. Big up everyone in the chat. Big up. Shouldn't there be an inquiry committee probe dubious signings under Murto? Mate, what can we do? It's move on or not. Woodward, Murto, and all that family over there. Family, but I'd see him as family. At the end, I just don't want the name abused commercially. Yeah, I agree, Mark. That's exactly my point. I get really upset when I see people are saying it's okay. You know, it doesn't matter. At the end, I feel like we have to move. Yeah, we have to move, but don't make it a commercialized thing. You know, we're not Man City. You know, try and hopefully we can keep our heritage. You know, that's it. That's all I care about at the end of the day. If Man United's heritage is maintained, I'm happy, bro. I'm happy. But, you know, I don't mind moving, you know, across the street. I don't. At the end of the day, if we got the space, of course, we can't develop Old Trafford. We got the railway track. So hopefully it can happen. We can move at the same place. We can turn Old Trafford into the women's stadium, and we can make it into a museum as well. And we can build up a complex that rivals Manchester City. Because if you ever been to the Etihad Stadium, mate, I'll be honest with you, in regards to Etihad Stadium, yes, it's commercialised, but they're showing us up at the moment. If you've ever been there, I've been there. They got the arena right there. You know, they got a lot of things. They got lots of things to do around the area. We need to rival that. We need to show them who we are, and hopefully we will do that very soon, of course. Snapdragon said if they are allowed to purchase the rights, they won't change the name. They would just add Snapdragon. Let's wait and see, Mark. You know, let's wait and see. Commercialized stadiums, Walker's Crisp Stadium, all that business. It just, it doesn't fit right. At the end of the day, Bernabeu didn't change. You know, and I feel like we shouldn't change. Man United is more than a commercialized club. You know, I know people think we have to move with the times. We can without changing the name, in my opinion. Absolutely. You know, Mount have Luckin trophy, but he should give his shirt to Garner. He should have given the 7 shirt to Garner. I feel like giving Mount the number 7 shirt was the wrong choice. I say it at them. Why would you put pressure on a player who's just signed? Unless Mount wanted that shirt, why would you put pressure on him? Like, that's massive pressure. You know, at the end of the day, that number 7 shirt, George Best, Eric Cantona, David Beckham, you know, Cristiano Ronaldo, that number 7 shirt is heavy at the end of the day. And I don't know why they gave it to him. You know, I don't know why. They should have given it to someone like good Garnacho. That number 7 shirt should be earned. It should be, you know, and at the end of the day, I feel like it was the wrong choice giving him that shirt. I absolutely agree with that, to be fair. How's it going with the FFPL, guys? I can't bet. I'm in the UAE. I can't gamble, guys. So, guys, good luck to you with that. Absolutely, best of luck to you guys with that. Don't get me wrong. I don't want the name to change. Theatre of Dreams. All the was. Yeah, mate. I know what you mean. It's nothing in regards to that, Mark. I know what you mean. It's just that, you know, I'm talking about in general. You know, I don't want that myself, you know, and when I think about it, it's just it's just disgusting the way the Glazers have treated the club, the way they treated the football ground. Although I'm very excited to see the new Old Trafford, I'm excited to see that. We will always know it, we will always refer to it as Old Trafford. I have that firm belief, you know. Obviously, Nou Camp, the Nou Camp in Barcelona, they've got goodness me, I always get confused with Apple and what's his name. Anyway, they got it. Memory, dementia, all that. Yeah, they've got it named after their sponsor. So at the end of the day, it's I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll still refer to it as Old Trafford anyway. But guys, it's been an absolutely fantastic show. You know, very good topics here, good conversations, keeping it flowing. Very good to have you aboard. Please don't forget to subscribe, smash a like, very important for the channel and the growth, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, absolute legends. Darko, Sal, when their meeting happens in the early 90s to form the Premier League, why did only a few clubs, including Man United, have the money and capacity to become big? Man United, at the end of the day, when we were taking over, I think Murto, wasn't it? John Murto and stuff like that, Rupert Murdoch and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, when the Premier League was formed, Manchester United is still the biggest club. Man United, a massive club, you know. Man United generate money through years and years and years, you know. We were very good. We're very astute business-wise, you know. Man United are the prime reason the Premier League is what it is today. You know these foreign owners who own football clubs. Man City can thank Man United for that, because it's Man United who put the Premier League on the map, the Premier League on the map. It's Man United who did that. It's Man United who made it exciting, you know, who created rivalries between teams, you know, that never existed before. For example, Arsenal, you know, and Newcastle. You know, these rivalries didn't exist before Man United came into the equation. And the history of the Premier League is because of Man United, you know, and they know that. You know, and we never get appreciated for that. I don't ask for it, but, you know, we don't. Big up, Garrett. Big up yourself. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, everyone, guys. Big up, Mark. Big up, Darkro. Big up, Mawaya. Big up, Garrett. Big up yourselves. Every single one in the chat. For the last, please, can you update a bit Ugarte? Yeah, said that basically Ugarte was left at the PSG squad for the game against Le Havre on Friday. That is big news. Now, Manchester United are still trying to iron out a deal with PSG. PSG are putting their heels firmly in the ground. Now, I'm 80% sure that the deal will be done by the transfer window end. But I'm hopeful that the deal should be done before we play Brighton and Hove Albion. I really want him to be on the bench against Brighton. That would be fantastic. So we're waiting on that deal to go through. Then we can move on to other deals, of course. We can move on to other deals. Do you know what I mean? And see, you know, what's the next one, you know, at the end of the day. Who are we going to get? Are we going to get Gadioglu, you know, etc. News about Tony, in regards to Tony. It will help FFP. That's the only reason Man United will be after Even Tony. But Even Tony has huge interest from Saudi Arabia. Unlike Casemiro, of course, who doesn't have any interest anymore. Tony has huge interest from Saudi Arabia at the moment. But if Man United did sign Even Tony, it helps with FFP. And make of that what you will. Make of that what you think of FFP. It's whatever you think about FFP. They're not the best, are they? Big up Darkro. Thank you so much for joining me. Big up everyone in the chat. You know what? It's a great chat. It's great to talk about Man United at the end of the day. It's passion. It's like it's feeling as well. You know, and I love talking about it. Absolutely. Yeah, he's a joker, Mark. He's a joker. Who does he think he is? He plays for Brentford. I remember Brentford when we were in the Division 3. You know what I mean? Yeah, if you played for Barcelona and Real Madrid and was smashing in goals, you would understand. Big up everyone, big up Mark, big up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channels, all the channels in the chat. Mark especially, help him get to his 1,000 mark, of course. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. Don't forget to support all the channels, and let's chase the elites. Let's chase the elites. That's what it's all about, guys. We need to bring them down, because you know what? Numbers don't make valid opinions, and that's what I say. It's all about building a community that know their ball, they know their stuff, and know Man United, and support Man United with their heart. We don't get these conversations on these other channels about the stadium, about this and that, you know, emotionally. We don't. It's because we are real Man United fans, and we feel about it deeply. But it's all love, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I shall see you tomorrow morning for Breaking Dawn. Don't forget, I'll be here if anything breaks, any news breaks, any here we goes, etc. I'll be here for any news that comes. So, guys, enjoy. Thank you so much. Have a splendid evening. All the best. Take it easy. Peace. Big up, Mark. Big up.